Hey, welcome back everybody. I haven't had a chance to upload anything just because I've been so busy with the 3 workshops in June. And then of course now I have lots of chapters to try to get back to the Goodhart Wilcox for the 3rd edition of the powertrain book. So as a result, been way behind. I've also been working on that open center valve, trying to improve it. But one thing I wanted to show was a conversation we had during the powertrains workshop. You know, I originally modeled this continuously variable transmission so that it would be easier for instructors to download this off of Thingiverse and be able to use it to teach, let's say, Case IH combine, flagship combine, the rotor and feeder CVT drive. Well, this thing is so functional, you can use it for lots of different continuously variable transmission applications. So in chapter 12 of the powertrain book, you know that it covers torque converters. Well, a torque converter can have a planetary gear set inside of it. Caterpillar calls it a torque divider. And in this example, you'll see that the sun gear is the engine input. So the sun gear is always rotating at engine speed. You'll know that the carrier is the output. And then you'll say, well, the ring gear is being driven by the turbine. Well, for this simulator, you'll have to spin this in order to simulate the turbine driving the ring. So if the engine is driving and the turbine is spinning, then you can see that your output, which is the carrier, will then drive the input shaft of your transmission located at the back of the actual tractor. Well, you know, if you've studied this at Caterpillar or if you read it in my book, that the amount of load on the actual output of this torque converter, well, that affects the speed and the direction of the turbine. Remember, this is directly attached to the turbine. And so what does that mean? Let's mean we're in gear, we're sitting still, and the engine is running. Well, that means the output can't be moving if we're in gear and we're not moving. Well, that means if the engine is spinning the sun gear, notice that the ring and the turbine are actually rotating backwards. This is probably the only example maybe on this planet where you'll have a turbine rotating backwards, a turbine, in this case a ring gear. So as you recall, just studying the actual torque divider, Caterpillar uses it to just build 25% more torque in a large track type tractor because it needs a lot of torque. If it wants to take a big cut and you don't want to rely just on, let's say, 2.5 torque multiplication in a traditional torque converter, you want to add another 25%, well, that's why they add a simple planetary gear set inside of it so you can gain that additional 25%. And so the sun gear is rotating at engine speed, the carrier is the output, and the turbine spins the ring gear. And so if you download this from Thingiverse, then you can take that in your classroom to use it to simulate how the operation of the planetary gear set works inside of a Caterpillar torque divider. So thanks for watching. Hope you have a blessed day. Take care.